plus 170, and you bet on the Patriots, you're still gonna win on the Jets. And if you bet on the Jets, you're still gonna win with the Patriots. So you're not gonna lose either way. You're
Yeah,
still
but
gonna profit out.
wouldn't that only work if the odds are closer? The more the odds are closer to 50-50, it wouldn't work with like if there's a big upset,
Correct.
would it? Yeah.
No, yeah, you have to make and because the bookies found out about this and they started seeing more like the sharp betters are the ones that are exposing this. So it's not illegal, it's legal. But the problem is the bookies are starting to catch on to it. So they're kind of making the line they make the lines close. So
Yeah.
that way it can work in their favor. So you have to make sure like you can't do a fight that's plus 380 and then a fight that's negative 160.
Yeah.
You're not going to profit well like that. But if you get something at plus 170 and something at negative 150, you're gonna make some profit. No matter what team you choose to win, or no matter what fighter, you're still gonna profit at the end of the day, whether you win or lose.
Yeah.
It's
So
a
I
no
mean,
brainer. And I always tell people, you can bet 100,000. Doesn't matter. You're gonna win either way.
looking at these five fights on the card at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, you got Chev Clark and Riley. Chev is a plus 250 underdog. Riley's a plus 161 favorite. So you're saying with that in mind, you make two separate bets on the same fighter or on each fighter.
Yeah, but the thing is though, you have to make sure that so my book on DraftKings, what I'll have to do is I'll have to place the second bet at another sports book
On a different app.
on a different app. And the
Yeah.
thing about it is you have to it's a lot of variance because you got to kind of be quick because the lines. So the thing with doing this, you don't want to do this when you're live betting
Yeah.
because the line shifts so quick. So you always want to do this pre-fight when the bookies have already set the odds already on the line.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So you want to lock it in early.
Yeah.
So if they got Anthony Yard, versus Len Arthur, they got Anthony Yard. I think the starting. I don't know what the opening
So
book was on or the
right now,
opening line was.
Yard's a plus 114. He's a big. A lot of the money's on Yard. Arthur's a plus 625 right now.
Yeah. So right. So you wouldn't want to do an arbitrage bet on that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but when you look at like CBS for Glanton, CBS is plus 197. Glanton's plus 195. That's almost a pick 'em right now.
That is exactly. Again, that's not a good arbitrage bet.
It's not. So you wouldn't
It's
want it.
not.
You wouldn't want it that close.
No, no, you don't want to ever do an arbitrage bet on both sides when the odds are both at even money. So if they're both at plus money and you bet on both sides, oh, you're gonna lose.
How
You
about you
want
banking? Okay, so how about you do a little bit more research, and then when we stream next week,
I'm gonna do
and
a little bit more research. I just know so far because again, I just found out this yesterday. I
yeah,
just know that you want to make sure the even money is greater than the negative money
okay,
in order to profit. But the
okay,
even money can be so much can be outrageously greater than that negative money. Again, if it's like by 20, like negative 150 and plus 170,
yeah,
you're gonna make money.
okay. But so, are you putting on the separate betting accounts? Like I have down here, the two big ones are tab
Yep.
and then sports bet. So if I take on one of them, I take Eubank Jr. I put 100 on Eubank Jr. He's at plus 163, and on the other one, I go Ben 100 plus 245. Oh,
Now
so
this
you're go
money line, or you doing this this is the
mon-
decision prop.
these are money lines.
So what are you getting on the money lines on your book
So
for Ben?
right now, the money line as we speak, like right before we went live, I just wrote them down. Eubank is plus 163, and Ben is plus 245. So the money
Oh,
rate. So Ben's the underdog. The money is with Eubank. So 100 though on Eubank on one app gets me 63 back. But if Ben wins, I get my money plus 145.
okay. Let me look into that because that's very interesting. Because from what I've been reading and what I've been told is you only want to do it at even and negative money. But if they're both plus money, that's something I want to look into to see if we can actually profit on both sides on that, win or lose.
Okay, so one of the things that I've noticed with the sports book down here in Australia is all of the odds are done in plus money. So like even if there's a huge favorite, for instance,
That's
even
what's
if
throwing me off. I see. I didn't okay because over here in the states we get it
it's
at
different,
even
and I know some
right.
people on my videos when I put the odds up there, the Americans are asking me that. So like for instance, the Yard and Lyndon Arthur odds right now on my book. it says Yard plus 114, Arthur plus 625. And the way that works is if it's plus 114, I just do it in increments of 100. 100 only gets you your money back plus 14 bucks. And on Arthur plus 625, 100 gets you your money back plus 525.
Oh man, I need your sportsbook, Johnny, man.
That's what people say. This is what
Wow.
are
What?
the yeah, these are the are they different in America?
Way different, because right now I'm probably gonna pause because I'm just gonna just look at my DraftKings real quick.
Okay.
So
Yeah. All right, guys. Muscles going pause, so I'll you guys just got me right now. So guys, if you've watched all the videos this week, you would have known who I'm taking on my parlay. Now I want to. Did you look at your odds?
yep, we got Ben at plus 135, and then we got Connor. No, we got Connor Ben at plus 135, and then we got Eubank at minus 170.
Okay,
And
so
that's
you're
how it
saying
is for every other fight. It's either minus or plus money.
okay because even
Yeah,
so, are the odds different? So would that is the comeback different from the with my book down here versus yours? I wonder if it
it
has to.
is.
I wonder if that has to do though with currency because this we're going into kind of like the deep water here. But our Australian dollar is so shit. We're at like 62 cents per US. So when I
Per
go home to
yes, okay.
America, when I go home to America, every every hundred every 62 bucks I spend in America, I get charged fucking like over 100.
Over $100.
Yeah. I wonder
Okay.
if it's based on
It might be the
currency.
currency. It might be that.
That's interesting.
Because
So there,
when you're reading these lines to me, you're getting plus money on both ends, man. That's
well,
that's a bettor's dream.
but that's how all the odds are written on horse racing, ping pong. That's how that's how the books look. Plus either low or high. So like you know Smith is plus 230, McKenna's plus 169. You Chev Clark plus 250, Riley's plus 161. So it's always plus, and it just goes in increments of hundreds. So you just know whatever one you take, the the
So who would
larger
the
plus,
underdog be?
the
Because the
larger
plus money over here in the States is the underdog, and the negative money is the favorite over here.
yeah. So the larger the money, the larger the plus is the underdog.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's
Gotcha.
how
Okay.
people
Wow,
always
that's
get confused.
interesting, Johnny. I never.
Yeah,
Wow,
something
man.
that
Australia's way different, man.
what I'll do is I'll screenshot and then I'll send them to you in a message so you can have a look at it. And then
Yeah, do that. I want to check that out. Yeah,
maybe you could ask your boy in Texas 3D boxing to see why the
Gary.
odds are so why the
I'm sure
odds are
he'll
so
know. Yeah, I'm sure he'll
yeah.
know.
But have you so you, the cards this week a better like you so a better like me like I like doing $100 on like 4 to 5 fights. 2 cards ago,
Yep.
$100 paid me out over 2,000. I got them right last week. The only one I got right was the female Gabrielle Fedora. I ended up as the fights were going chasing, so I ended up almost break. I think I won. Gabby to knockout was 180. My original parlay I lost 100 to win. I think 1,700 because Dalton Smith didn't get to finish, and we know
Didn't
what
get the.
happened.
Yeah.
We know what happened with Conwell, man. He shit the bed as well. So it with this card, with so many 50-50 fights, I just need to let everybody know. When I did my breakdown, guys, and you see who I'm picking, and I'm telling you my parlay, I'm not necessarily telling you to make that bet. What I'm doing is crossing my T's and dotting my I's for my work as a content creator over the entire week, showing you collectively of the videos of the fights I've done analysis and predictions on. If you add all of those up into one parlay, this is those odds. So I guess some people get confused, and it's funny when I get them right. You can answer these questions. When I get them right, I get some love. But dude, when we get them wrong, people
We
are
get
just
them wrong.
waiting. But people, dude, the people are waiting, like coming back from a comment like 2 weeks ago. I told you, motherfucker. I told you
Yeah.
was wrong.
Yo,
I'm
they
like,
keep
yeah.
receipts, Johnny.
I'm
They
like,
keep receipts,
I'm
boy. I'm
like,
trying to tell you, man.
I got
Like they can't wait to eat you up, man. That's
dudes. Dudes
crazy.
were thank God. Like I'm in a very, and this is where I'm at in my life as a man personally. I'm
Yep.
at like my most heightened state in terms of like consciousness. I've done a lot of work on myself over the last 15
Yep.
years. So I tell
Blessings,
myself,
bro.
I'm very grateful I'm where I am in my own personal evolution versus where I was in my 20s, boy.
Yeah.
Reading some. reading some of those
Elevation, man, growth.
Re-
You know.
Mate, reading some of those comments last week in my 20s, I would have been trying to, where you at? Send location. Let's
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But see, look, see, I'm so aware and attentive that
Yeah.
I be seeing these comments, and I always be seeing your response back. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, you be killing these motherfuckers with kindness too, man. I'm like, there you go. I'm like, ooh, that you just say, good luck
Yeah.
or hey, salute. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
I got
kill
to.
them with that short and sweet.
Yeah,
You know,
because
that's it.
because people don't understand the intent. The people who follow my page, who've been following it for a year or two, understand my intent. We're out here
Right.
to educate, analyze, and learn. The betting component is a more entertainment side of things, but more importantly, guys, what really drove me was like I think it was the Ryan Garcia Tank Davis fight when every YouTube channel was just race baiting everybody. Got these huge channels and huge followings based on race baiting and hating on
Yeah.
people, and those are still the current big dogs in the YouTube space, which I create. And I'm like, you know what? There's no place in boxing for this bullshit. People
Right.
die in the ring.
Literally.
I come out of here. I come at this with revelry and reverence to the fighters. And so when I see the comments, people coming at me because I mispredicted a fight, I'm like, come on, dude. You don't even know who I am. It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's like get your head out your own ass, man. Like really, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You don't know me personally, you know?
Yeah, that con. I don't want to speak too much of last week, but Conwell just walked in, smothered his work, and got hit. Got man. Also, what Conwell kept doing. Why did he keep sleeping? Why did he keep going to Chino's left side? Every time he would enter the pocket, he just worked
Yep,
from here, and that was the minor adjustment Chino made from the second round to counter him there.
yep. Because he
And,
kept and he caught on to that. He kept
and Con-
watching him coming to that side.
yes, he started catching him coming in, and he started doing his best work on that side. And Conwell didn't have an adjustment. That
Nope.
there's so much.
I said the same thing to Gary because me and Gary were watching. I'm like, Gary, you see what I'm saying? He's
That's
picking up on it.
and when you and I did our live, when we did our
Hmm.
live right before the fights, I that was the feedback that I said when I was on the phone with Ohio Runs Boxing, and he told me that he said that the one downside on Conwell is that when he enters the pocket, he doesn't show his opponent multiple angles. He doesn't show his opponent multiple looks. It's always the same look. And I think
Right.
what we saw was just a very heightened ring IQ by Chino, and that
Yeah.
boxing
Well,
so
credit to Chino and credit to his team and his trainers
yeah.
because I'm gonna tell you they were very well prepared for Conwell.
Oh,
They studied him like a mother, man.
they did.
I'm
They
telling
did.
you, boy.
And I was salty. I was salty, but at the same time, I was happy for Garcia. And
Yeah.
it just also opened my eyes, man. Like on our side of things, betting on these fights, gambling, there are never any locks. We could do our analysis. Boxing is so unpredictable. You could take
Yep.
styles, you could overanalyze anything you want, but in the moment with the lights on, some of the things that matter the most we can't measure. Like,
Yeah.
can that fighter who has a team but is in the ring by himself, can he manage these split second decision making adjustments?
Live in the moment.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that was
Exactly.
it was it was it was it was interesting to see. I mean, like I said, I was disappointed because I lost, but I was also it was an inspiring performance by Chino, mate. That dude, you
Yeah. I'm
it
not
was
gonna lie. I was
crazy.
very impressed with Chino. I
Did you
didn't see him coming like that at all, Johnny. I didn't see
who
that, man.
and then I mean, what else? We Dalton Smith won, but he didn't get the knockout. That was suspicious.
I mean, Jermaine was running. All it was, dude. It was weird. It was running. It's hard to knock somebody out when you're running the
Yeah,
whole entire fight. You
yeah.
know,
Jermaine didn't come to win that
Everyone's like,
fight.
yeah, but Dalton didn't cut off the ring. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh no, but you only can cut off the ring so much.
yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Jermaine didn't come to fight. He came to go the distance.
Exactly. He came to survive. Yep.
And then what else? And then what was the other one we had on there?
Fendora. It's funny because Fendora knocked this girl out in the same round that she knocked her previous opponent out in the seventh round.
Avila.
Uh,
I called that
yeah.
was the one that Gabby by knockout was the one that I mean I thought I was sure with all of them. You know what I'm saying? But when you look
Yeah.
back, when you look back at the predictions, it was what I thought was going to happen was spot on based on what Gabby's looked like her last few fights, man. And
Yeah.
she's only starting to sit down more and more on her punches. She could be like a 4 division, 5 division world champion before it's all said and done. And people in the
Easy.
comments hating on her, calling her a weight bully. The girl just turned 23. What are
She's
you
just that
talking about? What are you talking about? How's she a weight bully?
right.
Like,
She
she
hasn't
has
even
no
reached
weight
her
on her.
woman strength yet. You get
I
what I'm
know.
saying?
She's like
Like,
a baby. She's like a little kid.
yeah.
The ref was
And she's
trashing
only
that
gonna
Dalton.
develop.
The ref was trashing that Dalton fight. How many of you guys picked Dalton, and how many of you guys in that last minute were so stressed out? I was watching it. Dalton was coming on, and Jermaine was against the ropes. I thought the ref was going to call it off. I was like, oh
Me
my
too.
god, he's.
Me too.
And
And
then
another thing, after that first knockdown,
yeah,
that I think it was in the first or the second round when he knocked it down.
yep.
I looked to my wife and I said, "Listen, he's gonna get the knockout in the next round.
I,
Believe me."
I thought it was
And then
coming. It
I thought
never
it was
came.
coming. I'm like, and he was never really pressing. Like when he
No.
had him hurt, he wouldn't really get on him and
Yeah,
corner, to the ropes. And I'm like, "What are you doing, Dalton? Like, what's up,
he
man?"
yeah, he was methodical in his march, but he didn't take it to that next gear to get him out of there. And you could say what you want to say. I mean, we could psychoanalyze that. The stoppage was only, I think, what, $1.20,
Yeah,
it was. Everybody picked
I
the
was
stoppage.
I was getting it at -400 over here.
Yeah, everybody was picking that stoppage, man. And,
Everyone.
and so when that didn't happen, I swear there was one more that Conwell Smith, Jermaine Fandora. Oh, were there only four on that? Oh, can't. Oh God,
Who else?
I don't even want to talk about my worst prediction thus in the last 12 months. I got to admit it here, was the Liam Cameron Whitaker fight. Holy shit, dude!
Oh,
I,
yo, that's right. How we forgetting that?
I
Like,
know. Well,
bro,
we forget it because we want to forget it. Ben Whitaker came out looking like a, and I should, you know what? And everyone was like, he changed camps. He's motivated, and he did. It could have been an early stoppage, but he looked like a different guy, dude. I was like, holy
different.
shit.
And I thought the over 8.5 was probably the best, closest
Yeah,
lock of the week.
I know.
Everyone did over 8.5.
Everybody
What?
did.
Second
Everybody.
round. Yo, hey, shout out to Whitaker, man. Like
Yeah,
he came
yeah, for
out, he
sure,
came out
for sure.
strong, man.
No
He
hate, no, yeah,
performed.
no hate.
No hate.
Dude, Tristan Kelkruth had to win a very close decision against. I watched that fight. I didn't bet on that fight, but you brought that fight up.
I
You took
did,
you
and
took Kelkruth to knock him out
I know I took him on the money line.
on the money. Oh, I think he was only $1.17.
Yeah, but when
You
I
picked.
did I take him on the money line or did I take him by stoppage?
I don't know. I know you brought him up. We didn't cover him too much.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
cover him.
think. Oh, you know what it was? I didn't add him in my parlay. I did a separate bet on him.
Okay.
I did a
That
separate, and I think I just took him 2-1 straight up on the money line.
that was
So
a horrible fight. That was just a weird hug
horrible, man.
fest. He almost lost
Yeah,
that fight.
I
He
know,
almost.
I know. He
All
got
right,
lucky
guys.
there.
I said I'm gonna get. So remember, when I give you my parlay, these are just the additions of everyone I picked to win. If we get all five right, mate, if we get 16-1, am I comfortable with all five right? Hell no. But I got to give you a prediction, dude. 6 months ago, Muscle, go to my channel. I was doing my same content, but the videos were like 3 minutes shorter because
Give it the
I
betting.
wasn't giving the prediction part. Everybody who
Oh, okay.
follows, everybody, it was the same. Just I would just end it after I would do the side by side, and I would say, all right, guys, let me know who you think's gonna win. I would leave it to my subscribers to tell me who's gonna win. And then
Right.
because I don't watch boxing content on YouTube. This is gonna sound crazy. I watch all the fights, but if I'm watching YouTube, I'm watching like true crime serial killer shit. I'm not watching. I
Yo,
don't
that's so crazy because
like,
I'd be watching that too.
yeah.
That's
So like
wild.
people tag me and stuff from like content creators. Oh, did you hear what this guy said? I was like, I never heard of him, never heard of him, never. And I go to their channels, they have like 300,000 subs. I was like, I'm staying away. I do this for people who follow me. I don't do this to get into it with any boxing other content creators. But anyway, I only started doing the predictions because everybody was asking me to do the predictions. Okay.
Right.
So when new people come to the channel, they see predictions, they think I'm coming at it from like, I know everything. I pick against your fighter sucks.
Right.
I never say that. You know what I'm saying? Like for
Right.
instance, Chev Clark versus Vidal Riley. Vidal Riley is the guy who was signed with the money team. I talked about it in my breakdown. He's the guy who trained KSI. But Chev Clark, I'm taking Chev Clark. And that is an unpopular pick right now because
It
everybody's taking
is.
Riley. I like Chev Clark. Also I should mention, guys, They're not fighting in a 20-foot ring. It's an 18-foot ring. It's a smaller ring. So
Oh, I didn't know
whatever.
that, Johnny.
Yeah.
See, I
Yep.
didn't know that. Yo,
So,
that see, I picked Riley, but I'm gonna
yeah.
tell you right now, with this new information, I might be
So
shifting now because that's
yep.
gonna favor Clark.
It's a smaller ring should favor Clark, especially with his style. That they're gonna fight right in each other's face the entire time. Here's so on the part, and
Mm.
I'll put this in the community section, guys. I'm taking my money line bet first is Chef Clark. But if you guys want to get fancy, what I've added to my picks that I didn't talk about in my videos is a prop bet for each fight. And the prop bet that I like on the Chef Clark versus Vidal Riley is at plus 130. So you over 10 and a half rounds.
Oh, yeah,
Because
the
it's a 12
distance,
round
or the
fight.
distance.
Yep.
Yep.
So will the fight go over 10 and a half rounds? It's plus 130. Under 10 and a half, it's plus 300. So it's just something for you guys to think about. Jermaine fought like his life savings was on the distance. That's what we talked about, Ridwan. Ridwan. After that fight, me and Muscle called each other, and he was talking about, damn, could you imagine if Dalton Smith whole camp put all their money on Dalton winning a decision? I was like, well, could you imagine if Jermaine's whole camp did the same?
Yeah.
All Jermaine would have to do is survive. They're all professionals. I think this is a question, a nice little fun
I'm just
debate,
saying, don't put it past that, because I'm
mate.
telling you
But
that could,
but what
that's all I'm saying.
but what yeah what would be the harder thing to do? What the harder thing to do is the rising contender. Would it be harder for the rising contender to go the distance with a guy he's supposed to knock out, or would it be for the guy who's supposed to get knocked out to survive the distance? Because that's the question. Because
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Dalton Smith, really, for me to hear Dalton did that on purpose for a little bag versus him becoming a superstar with a viral knockout, in comparison to Jermaine, who's 35 at the end of his career, doing that for going all in to survive, because they're all pros. Any pro should be able to survive the distance in a pro fight if they want to
Right.
make it boring and have the crowd hate them and win no fans and never fight again on pay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
pro should be a pro should have the skills to do that. And it looked like Matthew Jermaine was like, "Let's get this money,"
Let's get
like
this exactly. Let's get this
because
bag. But
every time he would sit in an exchange, he'd get tapped. He'd be like, I'm out.
I'm
And
getting out of
yeah,
Dodge.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm out. So yeah, so guys, that Chef Clark Riley, will it go over 10 and a half? Neither guy's been stopped. Chev has one loss. It's a plus 130. So if you want to watch that fight and you don't want to put your heart or wallet on either fighter, this is where I'm getting at. It's a bet that you might think about putting on a parlay. So you're just cheering for both guys to go past 10 and a half. That's a plus 130. The next fight, so you're on that fight, you just for fun, just so I know, you taking Riley to beat Clark?
I am, but now that you told me about the ring,
Smaller ring. And that, it,
yeah, I
and
want to
that
see
was
how they look at.
Conor Benn got the smaller ring, which was interesting to me because in the
He's a mover.
negotiations, Conor wanted the smaller ring. I thought it would favor
He would want
Conor
a
to have the
bigger one so
bigger
we can
ring.
move.
He
Yeah.
said no. He said he's like, I didn't come in here to muck around. I'm coming here to see if he can
Finish this
withstand my.
dude off.
Dude,
Right.
that is gonna. We're gonna get there in a second. Now, an interesting fight, crossroads fight. You heard the analysis, guys. Liam Smith with one of the worst nicknames in boxing history, Beefy. I feel gross.
What is that? Like
I
what?
feel I feel gross and disgusting. Beefy. What the? I'm a
Bro.
grown man. It's like
Hey, no Diddy. Johnny, no
it's
Diddy
like
on that.
it's like Cedric. It's like for all you young bucks or old heads like me. It's like in Kings of Comedy. Cedric had that bit. I ain't about to call another grown man delicious. It's like I'm I'm not about. I'm not about to call a grown man
Oh man,
beefy.
bro, that's yeah, nah. That's a no Diddy right there for me, man.
What the? And so McKenna undefeated. This guy, this is the dude that when I put up in our boxing group, Bomac.
No Diddy why.
Yeah, no Diddy.
Yo.
What up, player? So call me Rico Suave, tu sabes.
Yeah,
Chicano. So Bomac, Terrence Crawford's coach, responded back to me. He always pops up in and out of our message group on Facebook, Boxing News Today. I didn't know that McKenna had come over there to the States, trained with his guys. He spent time with Team Garcia, RGBA. He basically spent his whole pro career in America, even though he's Irish, and 25 years old versus a 36-year-old. The money line, Smith is the underdog 100 gets you 230. McKenna's a plus 169. I'm money lining McKenna, even though in the crowd's popularity, he's not going to win. All the Brits, because this Irish English rivalry. If you don't
Hmm.
want to go money line, a prop bet on this one that I find interesting as well. Will the fight go the distance? So will it go the entire fight? Yes, plus 152. No, plus 245. It's just something to think about. I'm taking McKenna. That's if you don't want to go for either or, if you want to just stay neutral and
Yep.
roll the dice on an outcome. But I'm confident in McKenna. I like that pick. I think the Irishman's going to get the victory. How about you?
I agree. I agree.
You like McKenna?
I do like McKenna.
Yeah.
I think he's a lot. I think he's a lot better than his brother.
Yeah, Steve.
I,
Yep.
yeah, Stephen McKenna. I think he's a lot better than him. I just think McKenna. He's a younger fighter.
Yep.
Um, I think, to be honest, with you, I think he's stronger. Got
Yep.
more power.
Yep.
Smith is good, but you got to remember Smith's been stopped twice, obviously by Canelo. I mean, that's Canelo. Then he got stopped by Eubank, as we know.
Yep.
Um, so I just think that with his experience, he'll get him through the fight. But I think at the end of the day, McKenna's gonna have his hands raised. I think he's gonna beat him in a decision.
Okay, so guys, if you like that, like you said, Muscle thinks it's going to go the distance. That's a plus 152. Now, this Anthony Yard, this is a trilogy fight. Even though the odds are crazy on this, and I shouldn't be that kind of like in the middle, Anthony Yard versus Lyndon Arthur is an interesting fight. They both fought each other twice. Lyndon Arthur won a decision. He said that he broke his hand early on and out jabbed him and won a points decision. And then the rematch, he got knocked out. And
Knocked out.
he said that he didn't even plan for that. He didn't train for it. This is what
Just
I mean. It's an easy out. He said he thought that he couldn't get hurt, and he got
right.
hurt. And I find that statement shocking when you look at Yard on paper. How could you look at that dude, the beast from the East, and think that you can't get hurt? What are you talking
Right.
about?
Right.
so,
Remember, this is
so
the same guy that gave Better Beef some issues,
I
and hurt
know.
Better Beef.
And,
you
and the
know.
thing and the thing about Yard is he's gonna make you fight him too, man. Like, so it's like, what do you and Lyndon Arthur, I felt like if now I'm picking Yard to win, and if the money line's only a plus 114, so this is another one of those parlay picks. Put on your parlay to add juice. 100 only
Hmm.
gets you your money plus 14 in return. But the prop on this that I really like, and it's only a plus 127. So maybe you take this, you go heavy on, I don't know if they allow you to do two-way parlays. If you take Yard to win plus having the fight having a total of zero point 0.5 knockdowns or more, that's
Hmm.
127. I think somebody's going to get dropped. I think over this with the smaller round, that plus 127 prop bet, will there be more than half of a knockdown, meaning that all you need is one knockdown to win your bet. I really like that. I'm comfortable with that pick. Smaller ring. Both guys have history. They're not going to go to try to win a points decision. And that's another option for you guys. How about yourself? What do you think on that one?
Yeah. So I made a lot of money on the knockdown prop. I
Yeah.
usually always take the over 1.5. No, I'm sorry, under 1.5 knockdown. But I only take the under 1.5 knockdown prop on high level fights.
Mm-hmm.
Example: Better Beef and Bivol. I cashed out 10,000 on that because obviously they fought
The,
twice.
the, sec- the second time,
The second time
did,
I,
did
I
Better
bet
Beef
on the
get
under one and
dropped?
a half knockdown.
Did
No
Better
one,
Beef?
no one got dropped that fight.
Oh, so you picked the under.
The under,
Yeah,
yes. I
that's
always
right.
pick the under. On this yard fight though, I'm kind of torn because I feel if I take the over the over 1.5 knockdown, there has to be two knockdowns for me to win the fight.
Do they
I mean to
offer
win the
you the
bet.
half? Because my book is offering me the half.
See, our book offers is 1.5 for under 1.5.
Oh, interesting.
And, yeah, and
What
I
are the
usually like the under 1.5.
what are the odds on the 1.5?
Mine the prop hasn't dropped that. We only have the knockdown prop for Ben and Eubank, and the
Okay.
under 1.5 for Ben and Eubank is minus 200.
For oh really?
For Bank, yeah, but I know we're not there yet with
Okay.
them. But as far as yard, I only got the money line right now on them. I think
Okay.
DraftKings is probably gonna drop the props tomorrow.
Okay.
So I'll know more on that,
And maybe you could screenshot some of those props that you like, and I could put them in the community section.
and I'll send them to you. Exactly, and you can just post it.
Okay.
But once they do drop that line, though, I think I might take. I gotta see what the numbers. I gotta see what the lines at. But I do love that under 1.5 because I had great success with that under 1.5 knockdown, man.
Okay, and now and what like every fight has an interesting storyline. You know, we got the trilogy with Riley. We got the passing of the guard or the trajectory fight with Smith and McKenna. We got not the trilogy with Yard and Arthur. And now we got CBS and Glanton. And these guys, have you been paying? If you guys been paying attention to just today, what's been happening? A lot of animosity, a lot of vitriol. Glanton. Now, where the money is, this is literally the odds have it close to 50-50. 197, 195. 100 on CBS to win, you get your money back plus 97. 100 on Glanton plus 95. So Glanton's a very slight favorite, but this reminds me of Mr. Rocky 3. This reminds
Yeah.
Glenn reminds me of when Clubber Lang was trying to get a fight with Stallone with Rocky, and he was talking all that mess, trying to hype himself up. He was going to show Adrian how to really who a real man is. And when you're watching Glanton in the pressers, this is kind of how he's been acting. I need to take the trip Australia for some betting. You come
For
down
real,
here, man.
man.
You stop through Sydney, one of the most beautiful cities I've ever lived in, or hands down. Sydney's
I'm gonna have to
amazing.
come pay you a visit, man, John. I'm
100.
telling you,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, and
We'll
it's
make
safe.
some money out there together betting. I'm
And we'll
telling
go to
you.
the horse races too. The horse
Oh
races,
yeah.
where is that? Um,
Whew.
so so the when you look at this fight, people keep bringing up the CBS. All the Brits are going for obviously Billum Smith, their boy, former world champion. Not a lot of people know about Glenn. He's from Atlanta, Georgia. Knockout artist, 20-2, 17 knockouts. Is mean in there. I think the biggest storyline is CBS the same guy after taking that beatdown from Zerto? You know what I mean? Like, and Zerto volume punched him to death. And we read stories about CTE and brain damage, all the studies suggest that it's never these big punchers. It's never this like knockout punch that does it. It's the accumulation of punches, the volume punches. When you look at fighters who pass away after a 12-round fight, it usually doesn't happen after a second round knockout. It's usually after this entire fight. So that obviously, thankfully, didn't happen to CBS, but he took a lot of damage, and we'll see what he looks like. And um, I'm leaning on Glanton on this fight.
I'm riding with you on that, Johnny. I like Glanton a lot on this one, man. I just don't know. We just don't know what type of CBS we're gonna get.
Yep. And
Especially after that loss to Zerto, man. I gotta go. I gotta go Glanton. I
And
got to.
and the interesting thing about Billum Smith is he's going to be the taller guy. It says he's 6'3". It says Glanton's 5'10", but 5'11". But Glanton has the reach advantage. He's 5'11" with a 79-inch reach. It's
Yeah,
insane.
that's
And
crazy. That's
and
crazy.
he works the body. And I talked about it in my breakdown of Billum Smith. Is he doesn't do anything really well. He's a but he does a lot of the basics really well. He doesn't do anything that makes you say, "Damn, that dude's exceptional." But he has his neck is the size of a tree trunk. He, is in for a dogfight. I think he's going to have to stay at range as best as possible. We'll see how easy that's going to be against Glenn. And Glenn's gone to France to knock dudes out, Mexico knocked dudes out, Russia knocked dudes out. He had that tough fight in 2021 against the African Apoche or Apochu. And
Oh,
the guy,
poetry. I saw that fight. Yeah, 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 yeah.
a very awkward cruiserweight was the African, and Glanton got him out of there. And his only two losses, the Kiwi who was undefeated, who had to retire due to a brain bleed, and another close decision. He could easily be undefeated. And the way I reason with it is I just think that I think Glanton's power are going to be too much. I think both their gas tanks are going to will hold up. They've both gone the distance. Glanton's coming off. He just got a guy out of there in a 12-round fight in the 11th round.
Yeah.
But I never feel comfortable betting on a guy who just pretty much got torched in terms of CBS versus a
Yeah,
guy
I
with
know.
Glenn who's 3-0 in his last three with 3 knockouts. We'll see. A prop on that I like though, total knockdowns. Either way, if you go over or under, whichever one, it's both at a plus 185. And
Man,
both
listen, man.
both are tough as nails. So it's one of those things that if you don't want to pick one because it's so even, if you want to watch that fight and just cheer for blood and brutality instead of a victor, take that
Right.
bet, total knockdown. Because some of these fights you just want to sit back and
And that's what I'm doing.
yeah.
I'm not wagering no money. Cause listen, after last weekend,
Last week, last week took it
listen,
out, boy.
the smart money is just sit back, get some popcorn, watch it with
Yeah,
the missus,
I, I'm
and
I'm going.
that's it.
I'm going heavy on my Friday night boxing in Long Beach. I'm putting
Oh,
more money
yeah. I'm putting up some money on that. I feel
in
very confident on my Friday picks. Very confident.
in a perfect world, that 2-1 parlay will come through, and then for me, the British card starts at 3 a.m. Sunday morning my time.
Oh, your time, right?
And
Yeah,
Connor
yeah.
Connor and Eubank don't fight until 7:30 a.m. So
Mm,
it's gonna be an early start. So hopefully I can just watch it with some entertainment value.
there you
You want to
go.
talk? McKenna's super confident. I got McKenna. I bet on Liam Smith knockout on a parlay. Good luck, Ridwan. If I like Liam Smith, I think McKenna will face adversity and be stopped. It could happen. He's very, very seasoned. On paper, I could see that happening, Ridwan. Not a bad bet. I like Eubank to win. Everyone going against him. It's interesting, Chaz. Let's get to this Eubank fight. Maybe because I'm removed and I know Muscle's removed in terms of like
Mm,
the media rounds, but on paper, the odds don't say everyone's against him. I mean, Eubank's plus 163, Ben's plus 245, meaning Eubank's the favorite. And
yeah,
he is the natural 160. It's his division. He's 35. Connor's 28. I think Eubank Jr. is a more skilled, more well-rounded overall boxer. I think that for me, Conor Benn at his best. When I think about Conor Benn, I always start and stop at the Algieri fight. I personally am friends with Chris Algieri. He's a really good guy. He's in my second book. Um, he's
oh, that's
from the
dope.
northeast part of the United States. Went to Stony Brook, U.S. His nickname was the Fighting Collegiate. I know him actually from the health and nutrition space. He's a nutritionist. He does a lot of work with the international ISSN, the International Sports and Science Nutrition down in South Florida. That's how I first met Chris. And that fight, even though Chris was at the latter stages of his career, he fought at 147. He was former world champion. It was the end of his career. But that Conor Benn version against Algieri was a motherfucker. Like, who beats that?
Yeah.
Like, what? But that was a while ago. You know what I'm saying? So he hasn't
But
let.
was that juicing Conor Benn, or
I
was
know,
that
man. And I
pre?
talked.
You know what I'm saying?
And I talked about it. I
That
mean,
plays a part. That plays
he,
a part.
he's not the first guy to use food as an excuse, though. Remember, Canelo said he ate tainted meat. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
Connor had egg. Canelo had meat. Connor had eggs. But this
Same
fight,
difference.
this,
Same difference.
how come no one's talking about Conor Benn moving up 2 weight classes? Everyone's salty that Bud went from 54, allegedly fighting at 68 against Canelo, but Conor's going from 47 to 60. That's 2 weight
Yeah,
classes. No one's even talked about that. Also, there's a 10-pound rehydration clause on Eubank, meaning that he has to weigh in at 160 and then before the fight not rehydrate past 170. It's a smaller ring at 18 feet. When I found that out, I thought that benefited Eubank, but then I read that Ben requested the smaller ring.
Ben requested it. Correct.
So,
Yep.
I mean, that's a badass decision. I mean, Conor Benn's a dog. Look, mate, Conor Benn is a dog. I love watching his training. If you're a fan of the channel or, you follow my personal Instagram, every now and then I'll show Conor hitting the bag. Those were the best eggs ever made against Algieri. Yeah, dude, everything he did was brutal against Chris, except
Everything, man.
except when Chris was unconscious against the ropes, he showed mercy too, because Chris was knocked out on the ropes, and Conor could have
And
done
he
the,
could have.
and
Yeah.
he did. Who was that? Remember when Tommy Morrison got knocked out against the ropes? I think it might have been, was that Ray Mercer? You guys are gonna kill me that the name is slipping, but he got knocked. Guys usually get really damaged in that position, and Conor held back. Conor shouldn't be allowed back in the ring at all. I mean, those tests, they let him back in the ring.
I
You know
mean,
what
they
I'm
let
saying?
Ryan Garcia back in the ring. You know
I
what I'm
know. And
saying?
Ryan Garcia fans still to this day, that's a whole different. We got
That's
that,
another
dude.
stuff for another day. We can get into that next week since he's
Bro,
fighting next weekend.
we got a busy next 10 days. We got the New
Listen, we're
York
gonna make a
City,
lot of money
the
in
New
May,
York City card. Then we got Canelo in Riyadh, and then we got NUA in Vegas. All
and
within
that's all in May.
all 3 days, fourth, fifth, and sixth. You better get
Yeah,
ready.
yeah, we're gonna get rich those 3 days. I'm telling you.
And everyone in England wants Eubank to win. Jack, that's what's okay. Then I swear somebody was like, I like everyone's going against him. May we got May we gonna get the bag? Let's get the bag now, baby.
Oh,
Come
we're
on.
gonna get the bag.
Why
Trust
we?
me, we're
All
gonna
right,
get the
guys. So
bag.
I'll wrap this up, but then we got a couple points to talk about. I'm taking
Yep.
Eubank on the money line at 163. Guys, if you do the parlay, put $10 on it. It's a 17 to 1. I'm putting $100 on it. Chev Clark 250, McKenna 169, Yard 114, Glanton 195, Eubank 163, 17-1. I hit one of these 2 weeks ago. We need luck again.
And you're
But
gonna hit it again, Johnny. You're gonna hit
but
it again, baby.
but the prop I like on the prop I think that you guys for the Conor Benn Chris Eubank Jr. fight, if there's a most punches thrown prop that I'm only seeing on this fight, they didn't give me on the other ones, and it's $1.85 either way. So if you guys are going with Conor or you're going with Eubank, do a double parlay. Pick whoever you think is
Yeah.
going to win, and then usually the guy in this fight who's going to win is going to have thrown more punches. So with that reasoning, you could double your money by picking that prop, most punches thrown. Because I mean, generally, statistically speaking, I think it's like 60+ % of the time, the guy who throws more punches wins the fight. There's whole fight styles based on volume punching. You know what I mean? So we'll see. That's kind of a fun prop if all goes to shit for me by the time the main event happens. You know,
Yeah.
if I'm chasing by the main event and I've lost a few, I'm it's getting crazy out here.
Facts. I'm trying to tell you.
Ali Penfold, I use Sportsbet. Sportsbet sucks when it's a
Bet
draw.
265.
Yeah, because you know why? Because Sportsbet offers the draw. So that's the thing. If on some books, if it's a draw, the bet voids. But because Sportsbet offers the draw, it changes the odds from the. Maybe that's why the odds are different. Does your book in America offer the draw?
Yeah, we get the draw. So in our situation, if it's a draw, it ends up becoming a push. So
Oh,
if you have a parlay and
not here.
two fights hit, and then the third fight's a draw, they just void that fight out, and you get paid out on the other two fights that you hit.
Okay, not
Therefore,
here.
it's a push.
Because the draw itself is a 17-1. It's on.
Oh,
It's an individual pick, and then you lose.
you
Kind
lose
of.
it. Oh, that sucks. That
Yeah.
sucks.
So who do you like in the main?
I've been going back and forth with this.
Yeah, same.
But doing my tape and everything, I do favor Eubank. I think he's the more skillful fighter. I think his ring IQ is gonna show. The only concern with me, I love Conor. Don't get me wrong. The thing with Conor, he's very fast, man. He's obviously gonna be the faster fighter out of the two. And he's a very explosive, athletic, but he gets too reckless and wild sometimes and wide in there. And I think Eubank's gonna kind of pick on that and kind of pick him apart. I think he's gonna outbox him to a close decision, man.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. I wouldn't bet the knockdown on this. I don't think the smart money's in the knockdown prop on this.
Yeah.
If I was to gun to my head over under, I would probably choose the under 1.5 on this. If you were gonna do the knockdown prop, but I would just in its entirety stay away from the knockdown prop. Just take this straight money. Don't even get fancy with the props on this fight. Because that's when you start. The bookies know what they're doing with these lines on these props, especially on this fight.
Yeah.
Just take it straight up on the money line.
Yeah.
And I would favor Eubank because you're gonna get paid well either way. The money line on both of them is paying pretty well.
Yeah.
So
guys, a lot of you who are listening to what Muscle's saying, paid really well. He's not talking about sort of what's the word? Impulsive gamblers. A lot of people, I used to live in Vegas, think paid well means let's hit a 10-team parlay to win 50 grand and you never win.
Yeah, no.
Paid well means you're going heavy on something like a $1.67 or like a $1.80. That's paid well when you only have to win one bet. When you only have to win one bet,
correct,
versus 5. So that's what he means. If you're trying to nickel and dime $10, winning $18 on $10 really might not make sense to you. Why he's saying paid well. So I just had to clarify that. Even if Ben wins, he's still a cheat and will never have fans on his side. Now,
you know what? That's fair. I'm not even mad at that comment, though, Johnny.
I'm not mad at that comment. No, Jack's right on. I think in boxing, because it's a blood sport, and I always go back to the Dooku Kim Bubba Mancini fight when boxing was 15 rounds, when they had it in Vegas on a Saturday afternoon outside at Caesars, and Dooku Kim never got off the stool on the 15th, I think, and he passed away in the hospital. Whenever a fighter gets caught, 100% gets caught using performance-enhancing drugs, I'm a proponent of banning them for life. I think they should be charged criminally. It's like when Antonio Margarito, when he had his gloves
loaded
when he
up.
fought,
Yeah,
when he fought
against Cotto.
Yeah, dude. And Cotto's in his corner. He's like, I don't know what this guy's fucking hitting me with. You know what I'm saying? And it's happened. I mean, long history with Aaron Pryor's coach
Aaron
back in the
Pryor,
late
yep.
70s with the water bottle, and then the Irish, the kid from America in 1980 who was fighting, who the dude cut the gloves out, cut the padding out of his gloves. Whenever,
Out of his gloves,
yeah,
yeah. There's a
whenever,
history of that, though,
yeah, there's
man.
a history of this shit. So whenever we see this stuff happen, I'm a proponent of like ban him for life. How can we get
Yep.
muscles? All right, muscles lock of the week. Let's hear it.
Uh, is he asking me what my lock of the week is, or how he can like access my locks each week?
Oh yeah, get some clarification.
Yeah. Before I even answer that, but if it's what I think you're asking me, if it's how you can get my locks each week that I bet on each week, you can get me on my Instagram at Oh, both.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you can get me on my Instagram at Money Muscle Brown. And then my lock of the week, I got Eric Tudor on the money line, Sonny on the money line, and
Valoria,
I can't I can't
Valoria.
pronounce his last name.
Yeah,
Yeah, on the money line at minus 167.
yeah, so DJ HDZ, go to your book. There's a fight card in Long Beach Friday night. Golden Boy's putting it on, headlined by Eric Tudor. Money Muscles lock of the week are 3 fights on that card actually. Tudor, Robledo, Valoria, all
I
three
got you, bro.
167. All right, it's going on 12 o'clock. It's actually a holiday here in Australia. It's called Anzac Day, where
Oh,
remember the Anzacs. It's a military holiday. Aussies, don't kill me for this. I think it dates back to either World War One, when a lot of Australians were kind of um, yeah, they're remembered for the war. So I gotta
okay.
go to a picnic real quick. You want to add anything before we get out of here?
No, just let's get ready to make some money this weekend after last weekend. That's already past us. Don't even sweat that. We got May coming up. We got Canelo. We got Inoue. We got Garcia. We got Devin. We're going to make some good money. A lot of good money. So
There's a lot of fights,
be on the
guys. I
lookout.
appreciate you guys. Follow Carlos. I'll leave his details in the comments. Like this, share this, comment. If you haven't subscribed, what are you guys doing? Good luck.
Let's do it.
All right,
My
guys. Be
man.
good.